I'm Nate Lind, and I help people interested in buying or selling online businesses get the transaction done without the deal falling apart. If you're looking to buy or sell online businesses, then be sure to keep tuning in for more videos like this one. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications about new videos and interviews. And introduce yourself in the comments. Are you a buyer or a seller? Enjoy the interview. Tom, can you tell us a little bit about what does the transaction team look like for the clients that you've used? Who do they go out and recruit and retain? You know, what's their external team look like for a killer transaction?
You know, every business has an internal team, and that might be your employees that you're working with, or your vendors in an e-commerce business, or the partners that you're working with. But you also need, if when it's time to transact your business. By the way, 100% of every business on the planet will ultimately transition. So the sooner you get ready for it, the better off you are. I'm talking about even big businesses. GE transitions from one CEO to the next. Every business on the planet will transition. I know you might be a young entrepreneur and you think, I could do this for 25 years, but the reality is the sooner you prepare, the better off you are. So you need to think about kind of what are my team of advisors to help me do this. Well, first of all, if you're in the e-commerce business, of course you're going to partner with Nate, and of course you're going to partner with Website Closers because they can help you get that business ready. But you also need to surround yourself with other smart people as well who can help you understand what you need and how to improve and improve the outcome. You probably need a great business attorney, somebody that can look at your agreements. I'm not talking about somebody that you need to pay $800 an hour to. There are great business attorneys out there who are a fraction of the cost. They're solo entrepreneurs themselves, but I always kept attorneys on retainer. So don't ever sign an agreement that you don't have an attorney look at, right? And so you need a good business attorney, and especially if you're going to transact your business, you need to have somebody who understands transaction law, right? So just having a litigator is not important, is not the right thing. You need somebody who understands business law. You need to have a great CPA who understands your books and also can tell you what are the tax consequences of selling this business. You need to have a great financial planner to help you understand what you need in order to live your lifestyle. If your objective is to grow this business and flip it and then do something else and grow another one and flip it and do something else, that's one thing. But if you're kind of getting to the point where you're saying, boy, I'd just like to retire now. Well, how do you know how much you need if you don't have a financial planner telling you what is the value that I need to get from my business today in order to live my lifestyle for the rest of my life expectancy? That's what a financial planner does. So it's important, even if you've got all of your net worth is tied up in your business, it's important to get a solid financial planner, a wealth advisor, somebody who can also help you understand what the transaction looks like. And of course, I always say that you need someone like us. If you're working with us for a couple of years before it's time to sell your business, then you've got a really high chance of selling it and selling it quickly for what you want. And so you need somebody that can help you improve the long-term value of your business. Website Closers does a lot of that stuff and to kind of prepare you for sale, but we do all that pre-work for you. So surround yourself with a great team of folks to help you external to the business, they can be great business advisors. They can help you. Being a solopreneur is a lonely place. Who do you talk to, right? Who do I bounce ideas off of? If you have a great team around you, then those can be the people that can help you.
Yep, that's absolutely right. We've got a number of great resources that we can share. Of course, if you're early in the process and it's on the horizon for you to sell your business and you've got some time to work on it, you should absolutely be reaching out to and talking to Tom. If you are in the process and we need to get moving quickly, we've got to get that tax advisor into play because you're going to get offers that are going to mean different things for you from a tax perspective. I had a great conversation with a gentleman yesterday. We're going to follow up and do a video here pretty soon, kind of talking about some different strategies that he has that are monumental in the transaction and reducing your tax burden. This is especially for people that are, in that $600,000 and more net earnings, either in a incredibly difficult tax bracket. And having those savings, they need to be engaged quickly. That tax advisor needs to be able to sound off, based on the LOIs and the offers and stuff that come in, because the different structure of deals can mean different things for your tax situation. And we really need to have that part figured out. But then on the transaction attorney, we've got some great deal makers on the attorney side of that. So specifically for e-commerce and digital businesses, for asset sales, whether there's inventory that's transitioning or not. I've got some great recommendations there. You can email me below, click on the link in the description below. For any of these referrals, I'm happy to, these are people I know who are getting deals done. I'm happy to send them warm referrals. They love the referrals from us as well. They provide referrals back. So it would mean a ton to me if you're struggling trying to figure out what to do in that situation. Let me guide you to the folks that are helping the other successful entrepreneurs that are going through this. Those are all key to getting the deal done. And you have to have them in your pocket in order for this to happen correctly.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it was anything different than that. I know that you've got people, look, if you're selling an e-com business, that is different than selling a brick and mortar, right? And so you need somebody who understands that. And I'm confident that Nate is going to steer you in the right direction there.
Yeah, we've definitely got the folks there. Tom, our last thing here is, the importance of obtaining an estimate, for the value of your business. This, of course, is a huge thing we do here at Website Closers. So this is a soft tee, and would love your thoughts on it. And please bat this one back to me.
So yeah, probably. Yeah, I started with this earlier. Every year, and this is business as total, not talking about e-commerce businesses. I'm talking about all businesses out there. There are 6 million businesses in the U.S. that employ people, and another 22 million businesses that are solo entrepreneurs. Each year, the ones that come on the market that want to sell their business, that either want to or need to sell their business, there is only a 17% national average success rate of businesses going out there and successfully closing a transaction. I know it's much higher with Website Closers because they're smart people and they know how to help you get that business sold. But that's a national average. And the chief reason that it's an 83% failure rate is an unrealistic opinion of what my business is worth. Most entrepreneurs don't really understand what their business is worth. They don't take the time to understand how businesses are valued, what buyers are looking for, whether or not I'm attractive or unattractive. Not saying I'm pretty, but whether the business, because I am beautiful, you know that, you see that. But it's whether the business is attractive to prospective buyers, and so. That is the number one deal killer out there of deals, because business thinks that they're worth way more than they really are worth on the open market. And so I tell business owners all the time, get an opinion of what your value is. That's when you engage with us. We do that as a part of our first assessment process, as we do that. But also Nate is a great resource here and can tell you what your business is worth. So you decide you want to sell your business for $5 million, and you get in your head that it's worth $5 million, and you look at it, you engage with us, and we do an assessment, or Nate does an assessment, and the business is only really worth $1 million. Well, that's where we come in. We can help you figure out how to make it worth $5 million if that's what you need. But you got to have a realistic understanding, because otherwise you're coming into a deal. I'm going to go sell my business. My buddy just sold his business for $10 million, and I'm going to go sell it. Mine's worth at least that. Well, what did your buddy do? What was his business? Were you guys exactly in the same business? And did they look the same? Were you making the same amount of money in earnings in the business? There are all kind of anecdotes about ways that business owners think about the value of their business. And the most important thing is they confuse what they need to retire on with the value of their business. There aren't any altruistic buyers out there, Nate. If you've got some guys that want to just pay people what they need to retire on, I've got a lot of businesses that I want to sell through Website Closers. It just doesn't exist, right? Number one. But also, if you don't have a realistic opinion, you're just setting yourself up for a giant disappointment when you put yourself on the market. So find out what it's worth and get that updated regularly. I'd be willing to bet that if you're in the e-commerce business, that Nate can help you out with that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a key component of what we do. Taking a look at someone's financials, and there's like 19 different, multiple factors that go on the growth side, and there's 11 risk factors that we use in our valuation methodology. And we've sold, over 3,000 businesses in the last 10 years. We're selling 200 to 300 a year. And we're talking to the buyers who are making offers every day.
That's one a day, by the way. That's one a day, so they know what they're talking about.
Yes, we do. We launch a new business every day, and we're closing just as many. And for every business when we list, there's 80 to 250 NDAs that are getting filled out and active buyers. We're getting 500 to 800 new buyers a week signing up to our email list, looking at our listings. It is insane the amount of activity going on, because the online sector was the only growth part of the business in Q2 with the pandemic here in 2020 and Q3, and it's just going strong. It's getting stronger. And
I had no idea, to be perfectly honest. I know that there's a lot of folks out there that help buy and sell business, a lot of business brokers out there. I had no idea until I met Nate that there was a business focused on e-commerce transactions. This is brilliant. They know more about this stuff than anybody else on the planet. So if you've got an e-commerce business and you're thinking of selling it, doesn't mean you want to sell it today. Reach out. They've got tools to give you to help you understand what your business is worth so that you can do that. Go, if nothing else, find out what your business is worth today.
Absolutely. I'm happy to do a free valuation. You click on the link below. There's a couple of key pieces of information I need to get that process started. I'll give it to you guys personally, the valuation that I'll see, and I'll tell you the exact trading range. It's not one hard number. I'm going to give you a trading range that you can expect buyers to start coming in at. And then I kind of see it the opposite. Oftentimes people come to us with unrealistic expectations that are far too low than what things are trading for right now. I like to have realism on the entrepreneur side, because if they do come to us and say, this is $1 billion company and it's worth, 10 million, 20 million, there's not a whole lot we can do with that. So we do need realism in the process as well. But we will push it. Like, we will aggressively go out to market, and we are seeing responses from buyers that are picking up what we're putting down. And probably, if you go and look at website closers, we've got hundreds of reviews of satisfied sellers. We've got a couple here and there buyers that think that it's the businesses that we're selling for too much. Well, on the buy side, the market responds as the market responds. If somebody's going to pay the price that we've recommended our sellers to list at, and that's the price the seller is just has a hard and fast that they're going to sell at, it is. That's the true value of your business. Tom, I heard this in your webinar. I'm going to reiterate it. The true value of a business is what a buyer will pay you, and the transaction will get done, and what you will accept, and that's the true value of the business. Tom, your thoughts?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That, as I tell everybody, I could sit here right now and tick off for you 57 different ways to value a business. However, all of that is garbage. And I tell people, when we do our opinion of enterprise value, you can use it as toilet paper. Go wipe your bottom with it and flush it down the toilet. Why? Because the only way to value a truly understand the value of a small business, whether that's e-com, it's any non-publicly traded business, is to find a willing buyer and a willing seller who agree on price. That's how you value the business. I might tell you that it's worth $5 million, but if you have to sell it and the only buyer that you can find is only willing to pay you $2 million and you're willing to sell it, guess what your business is worth? $2 million. If, on the other hand, I tell you it's worth $5 million, because that's where businesses are trading, but somebody comes in, a white knight comes in who really, really, really wants your business and is willing to offer you 15, don't tell them I said it was worth 5. It's whatever a willing buyer and a willing seller agree on. That's the magic formula for valuing a business. Sorry, it's that complicated.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. That's why, I love the position that we sit in here at Website Closers, because we're deal making. We're seeing the market speak. Well, we get a chance to see and hear. I've got a spreadsheet for one customer. We listed their business at $30 million. We had 6 LOIs come in at varying prices, ranging from $19 million to $29 million. So it was right, spot on for what we listed the business at. And we see it. We see all the activity. We know exactly where the numbers are coming in at. So it takes me a little bit. I can't just say, oh, here's your net earnings. Here's what it's going to sell for. I need to know more about the business. So when we do these free evaluations, it typically turns into a 30 to 45-minute phone call. And then I'll collect some information from you and get it back to you. So that's, if you've got any interest in that, if you're over, $300,000 in net earnings, that's kind of where we play, in that $1 million to $150 million in trade value. That's our spot. If you're under that, if it's a newer business, if it's less than a year old and it's, only making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in net earnings, I can't really help you there. You can shoot me an email. I can send you some recommendations for some places you can go. But for everyone else, if you're over $300,000 in net earnings, by all means, let's jump on the phone. I'll give you a free valuation and give you some guidance as to where things are going to end up for you.
And we can help with that too. If you're smaller than that and you want to hit that target, or you want to take your earnings to $1 million or $5 million, that's where we come in and we help with that. So in addition to our normal consulting services that we provide, we also have a master class where we teach people all of this stuff that kicks off in early 2021. And so feel free to let me know. And I would recommend that your listeners go out and get a copy of my book, Maximize Business Value. It's a very easy read. It's not too much in terms of investment of time, but it gives you a real case for why you should be thinking about what your exit is long before you think you should. And you should have the resources, the people around you to help you kind of navigate those waters. Because if you can define where it is that you want to be long term, then you can go out and achieve those goals. Doesn't matter what they are, but it starts with defining that and thinking about it and being intentional about it. And so I would encourage you to do that. I never started at 100 businesses that I've had, and 101 now. I never started a business without clearly being able to understand what my exit strategy was. It made business decisions so much easier when I really could understand that. Because as the Cheshire Cat says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Don't be that. Define what your outcome is and go vigilantly pursue that.
That's awesome. Tom, this has been a very special segment. I really appreciate your time. Those of you that saw his book, we'll have a link below in the description. Go ahead and click on that. Absolutely go order a copy. It's going to be worth its weight in gold. So those of you that have been watching this long, you have absolutely gotten a ton of value. Appreciate any comment you have below. Give us a little message. Just, say thanks, Tom. Thanks, Nate. If you've got any questions, we'll be able to monitor this. Tom's also got a YouTube channel. Again, I'll have the link below. You'll be able to click on that and go watch some of his stuff as well. Massive amount of content, tons of great education there. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you again next time.